cancer and advances in medicine. When talking with my doctor friends or other medical colleagues, many of them have expressed that cancer cases seem to have increased. Ironically, despite advances in medicine, why are we still seeing more cancer? The truth is that medical advancements have led to people living longer, which in turn increases the chances of developing cancer. The main cause of cancer is age. Unfortunately, we cannot control the aging process. We cannot reverse aging. So, aging inevitably leads to cancer because as we live longer, the chance of cancer increases. Cancer develops when normal cells age and are unable to remove mutations, leading to a weakened immune system and the formation of cancer cells. As medicine advances, people live longer, which inevitably leads to an increase in cancer cases. In addition to aging, another factor is bad lifestyle habits and poor diet, which can contribute to cancer. While aging is beyond our control, we can reduce the likelihood of cancer by making efforts to live healthier. Taking personal responsibility for one's health is the best way to reduce cancer risk. The potential link between vaccines and cancer. A topic that has recently gained attention is the potential link between vaccines, particularly the COVID-19 vaccine, and cancer. The COVID-19 virus first emerged in late 2019 and spread globally in 2020. Since then, pharmaceutical companies around the world worked quickly to develop vaccines, and vaccinations began. However, the rapid pace of vaccine development, without the usual long clinical trials, has led some to speculate that there may be a connection between the vaccine and the increased incidence of cancer. In fact, many of my doctor friends have noticed an increase in cancer cases, especially those related to blood vessels and cancers that affect the vascular system, since the pandemic. But, there's no definitive study yet on this issue. To confirm any such connection, a study would need at least 10 years of research. Since it has only been about 5 years since the pandemic started, it's too early to make any conclusive statements. Currently, I can only share my own suspicions, but I cannot confidently claim anything. I always rely on scientific facts and research, so I do not feel comfortable making statements without proper evidence. Before making any such claims, I will study the research carefully. If a definitive, globally recognized study emerges, I will review it and share my findings accurately. At this point, it is still too early to say, and we must wait for more research. Chronic inflammation, diabetes, and their impact. I can confidently say that chronic inflammation and high blood sugar are closely related, and this is really an important fact. Chronic inflammation can be thought of as the first button when we put on clothes. If this first button is off, it leads to diabetes and high blood pressure. Chronic inflammation results from accumulated habits over time, starting from a young age, and it creates inflammation in the body. This damages the blood vessels throughout the body, and when our blood vessels are damaged, cancer cells are more likely to form. It's a chain reaction, not just a simple one-time event. When harmful factors continue to damage our cells without giving them time to regenerate or heal, the body falls into a chronic inflammatory state. This leads to poor blood sugar control, and when the blood vessels, which are the foundation of the body, are damaged, cells and organs begin to die. Ultimately, all diseases are interconnected in this way. And everything leads to cancer. The impact of diet and sugar on health. One of the most common foods people consume nowadays is sweet foods, as people's desire for delicious food increases as they live longer. In the past, people ate to simply fill their stomachs, but today, food is also sought for pleasure and to make the brain and mood happy. In this process, diabetes has become more common. Diets have a significant impact on cancer development, and sugar consumption plays a huge role. The combination of sugar and chronic inflammation is inseparable. Chronic inflammation leads to higher blood sugar levels and the development of diabetes. This is something we need to be cautious about. As I've mentioned before, sugar consumption should be monitored. Excess sugar intake leads to the accumulation of fat cells, which in turn release cytokines, chemicals that activate chronic inflammation. So, gaining weight itself triggers chronic inflammation in the body. Foods that cause weight gain should be avoided, especially sugary foods. When I talk about sugar, people may think of simple sugar, but carbohydrates, such as the sweet desserts made with simple sugars, should be especially avoided. Common foods like sweet noodles, cakes, bread, and pizza contain flour, which is full of carbohydrates. These foods rapidly increase blood sugar levels, and eating them raises the blood sugar dramatically. People who love bread, for example, will notice that their blood sugar spikes after eating it. When blood sugar rises rapidly, the pancreas works hard to lower it by releasing insulin. However, if sugar intake continues at this rate, the pancreas becomes exhausted and insulin can no longer regulate blood sugar effectively. This is insulin resistance, which eventually leads to diabetes. When the blood sugar levels remain unregulated, blood vessels suffer, as I mentioned earlier, causing injury to the blood vessels. This leads to damage to fine capillaries, which can affect the eyes, cause sensory loss in the feet, and other problems that gradually worsen. Over time, these issues can affect vital organs, slowly causing damage. It starts off subtle, but eventually, major organs in the body can suffer. In the beginning, you may not notice it, but as time passes, the condition worsens. Foods to be cautious about and healthy habits. Another food I want to highlight as something to be cautious about is high fructose corn syrup. This is not the natural sugar found in fruits, but sugar that has been artificially created. It is commonly found in fruit juices, carbonated drinks, and energy drinks. These sugary drinks can significantly increase your blood sugar levels, so it is best to avoid such drinks. If you must drink something, it's best to choose water. What about barley tea? Even barley tea is not ideal because it often contains added chemicals. Simply drinking water is the best option. Many people do not drink enough water daily. If you don't drink enough water, your blood becomes thicker. When blood thickens, it causes damage to the blood vessels. That's why it is important to develop the habit of drinking enough water. However, it is also not good to drink too much water. The appropriate amount of water intake for the body is about 1.5 L to 2 L a day, but not more. Drinking excessive amounts of water can cause the cells to swell, and if the cells swell too much, they may burst. The cells cannot handle the overload, and this can cause negative side effects. So, it's important to drink an adequate amount of water. The importance of not over-restricting water intake. Some people avoid drinking water out of fear of getting cancer, but this is also a harmful practice. If you severely restrict water intake, your muscles start to lose mass. Muscles are extremely important in the body because they release myokines, which help fight inflammation. These myokines are great for countering chronic inflammation, so it is essential to maintain muscle mass. If you're trying to manage blood sugar or lose weight, you should never starve yourself. You must make sure to consume an adequate amount of protein. However, even when consuming protein, don't overdo it, as excessive protein can strain the kidneys. Everything should be in moderation. Extreme dieting is harmful. Processed meats are also something to avoid because they contain many chemicals, as I've mentioned before. These chemicals expose your cells to harmful substances and shorten their lifespan. Eating processed meats occasionally may be okay, but red meat should not exceed 100 g per day. I recommend keeping it under 50 g per day. In general, it's best to limit the intake of red meat and processed meats. Dental hygiene and diabetes risk. Another habit that unknowingly raises blood sugar is not brushing your teeth regularly. I've mentioned this in other videos before, but research shows that not brushing your teeth can increase the likelihood of developing diabetes. On the other hand, brushing your teeth 3 times a day can reduce the risk of diabetes by over 88%. This is because poor oral hygiene can lead to gum disease and inflammation in the gums, which can then affect your blood vessels, contributing to chronic inflammation. The inflammation from poor dental hygiene can spread to other parts of the body, leading to higher chances of developing diabetes. Therefore, it's important to brush your teeth at least 3 times a day to maintain good oral health. So, today I've shared information on foods and habits that can trigger cancer. As I always say, it's not difficult to make these changes. By paying a little more attention to our daily habits, we can make a big difference in our health. Avoid foods that increase fat cells, limit your intake of carbohydrates, be cautious with foods like bread, and make sure to maintain muscle mass. Do not engage in extreme dieting, drink an appropriate amount of water, and make sure to avoid habits like not drinking enough water. Many people today are not drinking enough water, so please make a conscious effort to drink more. It's essential to take care of your health, and even small habits like brushing your teeth regularly can make a difference. By being more mindful of these things, we can all take one step closer to a healthier life. I hope this information helps, and I look forward to sharing more useful tips with you in the future. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and set notifications, and please share this information with your friends and family.